Okay, so this is my first video as far as cars go and repairs. I've been fixing a lot of cars, and some I've taken to the shop. Recently I took this 1997 Eclipse Spider GST 2.0 liter turbo convertible to a place called Total Car Care in Northport, Florida. And they said I need a new head gasket. This car does not run because I ran out of fuel, which subsequently burnt out the fuel pump because it was old, which then triggered the crankshaft sensor or position sensor, the crankshaft position sensor, to malfunction. It overloaded it, and now I don't get any spark to the coils or to the plugs. I get no spark at all. So I took it in, and they said, oh, you need a head gasket, you need a timing belt, you need 1,000,001 things. My timing belt is cracked a little bit, but it still works perfectly fine. You got your intake here, and again, 1997 second gen Eclipse GS Turbo Spider convertible. I haven't found a lot on the internet for it. But make this as quick as possible. You're at the front of the car. The mechanic shop couldn't even locate the crank position sensor. So that's one of the first things you want to check. I have an OBD reader, and I checked it, and that's what it said. I've also read online that this can cause the car not to start. But I've done everything. I've checked voltage, relays, fuses, pumps working, everything, ignition, everything. Everything's good to go. Wires, coil pack, or whatever you want to call this here, this distributor, looking thing with the wires that come out. The belts and stuff are all new. I've got the covering or the housing off. You can see that the timing belt has got some holes in it and stuff, so I'm going to change that too. But you want to see where the crank position sensor is. It is not underneath the oil filter, like on the non-turbo or non-aspirated cars. From the front of the vehicle, this is easy, and the mechanics made it seem like it was impossible. From the front of your Eclipse, if you have the turbo, you're going to go take the driver wheel off, and what you're going to encounter, see the casing's off, you go straight down to the wheel. Once you take the wheel off, there's no covering or anything to block it, other than what would be on the timing belt. You take the main crank, or not a spindle, but you see here this belt pulley. Undo the 4 bolts. There's one there. The rest are right there. You take that out. It's the main one on the bottom. Take that out, and it exposes the crankshaft position sensor. It's covered in oil and goop, but it's right here. There's a bolt here. There's another bolt here, and here's your wire. This is the definitive crank position sensor that you need to change. Once that's changed, hopefully you'll get a spark. But that is it right there. There's many other things that look like it that I've taken off and had to put back. It's trial and error, but I'm not going to spend thousands for somebody to change that. So it's that right there. Also, I've come across a small belt that is broken, and this is the belt for the counterbalancer of the counterbalance for the timing and the harmonic balancer itself. So I'm going to replace that as well. The crank position sensor looks, Duralast. I got it at AutoZone. They had to order it in from another store. It took about 4 hours to get. It's very simple, and it doesn't look anything like what you may have thought, but it's just this here. This is the crank position sensor. So I have to follow the wire and the lead to where it plugs in at, or the clip, with those 2 bolts I was talking about, and the wires coming off of it. You're going to undo it, pop this in, bolt it up, clip it in, get your belts back on, tighten everything up, and it's good to go. This was $62 at AutoZone, in-store pickup. And then here's that little counterbalance belt I was mentioning. It's just this small. It's very little. I don't like what the mechanics are saying or what one or two of them had said at the same place. He said that I was lacking compression in the cylinders and everything. I checked the compression before it went there and now since it's been back, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Don't get scammed by these mechanics. They try and tell you something and something else and nothing's wrong. You know, just Google, research, check this out. But this is how you do it. Hopefully this helps someone. I do work on a lot of other cars. I got a Mazda 6. Anybody has questions about that or other questions about this, I could probably help you out. Turbo, you know, Tahoe, convertible, Caliber, Dodge, RT. I've done head gaskets. I am ASE certified, or I was years ago, but I don't work on it for a living anymore. It's just something I do. But yeah, any other questions, feel free to comment or send me a message.